Paranormal Activity, which is a 2007 American supernatural horror film written, produced, directed, photographed, edited by Oren Peli. Another film he directed was Area 51, which was actually pretty decent, even though I prefer Paranormal Activity over this. But when it comes to producing credits, he also did the Insidious films, as well as The Lords of Salem. Sticking with Paranormal Activity, though, he did a fantastic job. I mean, this is a film that was only shot for $15,000. It had a limited release in theaters. I mean, you couldn't even see it around where you were unless you were really, really lucky. It was then acquired by Paramount Pictures. It was modified with a new ending for like $200,000. So in September 2009, it had a limited US release. Then in October of 2009, it had a nationwide release. And it made like $193 million at the box office. Talk about a profit. I mean, talk about a successful film. People were actually leaving the theater midway through the movie because they were frightened. You should see the reactions of people. You can go on YouTube right now and watch the reactions of the audience. They were actually promoting that big time. It was a big marketing tool, saying that this was one of the scariest films ever made, and that people were in the theater and it showed their reactions. Like, they'd be like, oh my god, like going like this. All that stuff was being promoted. It was brilliant. It was a brilliant marketing strategy to have this be limited in the US, to where people were curious. People were curious on why it was limited. Why was it so scary? Why were they promoting it like that, where people were scared out of their minds? I mean, for one thing, it's found footage, and those two words people hate. I mean, since the Blair Witch Project, you know, people didn't really take that film seriously, and some people hate it, even though I really love the Blair Witch Project. It's probably my favorite found footage, but found footage to some people just doesn't really do it. So this movie really boarded the hype train. I mean, it was hyped up big time, and I thought it delivered, because once it had a nationwide release, that's when I saw it, and I really, really liked it. A lot of the things that happen in this film are experiences that I've had, not quite to that extent. I mean, I know ghosts are real because of the experiences that I had, and with my cousin, he can tell you all about it. Nothing demonic, okay? That's what this is about. That was a demon, but nothing demonic. It's more like spirits messing around and stuff. You know, my cousin's old house, there was a lot of activity and stuff. But until you've been through it, I cannot really blame people to not believe in stuff like that. So, like I said, unless you've been through it. And I understand if there are skeptics out there that do not believe this stuff. I understand. I completely understand it. Yeah, people were actually leaving the theater because they were frightened. You know, some people were actually speculating that they were leaving because the film bombed and that it sucked. But that wasn't the case. Almost every interview, when you see people exiting the theater, the news was there and they were asking, what is it about this movie that makes it great? And people almost gave the same answers. It was frightening, it was exciting, it was scary, I couldn't look. All that stuff. I thought this film did its job. I mean, really, it was so simple with only a few characters. I mean, you have Micah Sloat and Katie Featherston, who plays this couple that live in this really nice house, and they're being terrorized by this demonic presence. Now, it gets worse every single night, and that's why I relate it to the Blair Witch Project, because in that movie, every night seems to get worse. You know, it started with sticks breaking, then it started with loud noises and babies crying, and, you know, Josh disappears, and it just gets worse. So in this movie, you see the activity get worse every night. You know, maybe you'll see a light turn on and off, or maybe see the door sway back and forth, or maybe you'll hear footsteps and then banging on the walls and scratching noises and stuff like that. It just gets worse each night. And that's why I just think I just really like it. It really keeps you on the edge of your seat in that way. But I do have some problems with the film. So the story that we get with this couple is that Katie has had this stuff happen to her when she was younger, which is where we dive into Paranormal Activity 3, but we'll get to that in the review. But this stuff has been happening to her since she was little with her sister Christy. And she tells this whole story about how she lived in this place, there was a fire, they lost everything, and this demonic presence or this shadow would always be at the foot of her bed. Even though her younger sister Christy did see it, it was always at the edge of Katie's bed. So there's something connected with Katie. And now that she's an adult, this stuff has been following her. And so now she's living with her boyfriend Micah, and this thing is terrorizing him every night. So he gets the bright idea to put a camera up in the bedroom, just like it is right here. So as you can see, they are in the bed. This is their bedroom, and then the camera faces down the hall where it's dark. And then the door, you can see there's like a shadowy figure right there. I think that was amazing as far as the camera work. That was a perfect view of what's going on in the bed, what's going on in the background, background down the hall, what's going on like over here where the door is. It gets a wide angle view of everything that's happening. And I just love how, like I said, it shows the time at the bottom there. It says 3 o'clock, which is like the witching hour or whatever, but it always seems to happen at a certain time at night, which is really, really cool. And there are some amazing things that happen where I'm just like, man, that was some cool tricks that they pulled off. The door would open and sway open, and in the background the light would turn on and off. There'd be footprints and footsteps. Katie gets drug out of the bed and dragged down the hall, which was an amazing... That's probably the creepiest thing about this movie is when she gets drugged down the hall. There's a creepy part where she just gets up and she stands there and stares at Micah. Like, she just stands up and stares at him, and the time passes. Like, so she's basically standing there for like 2 or 3 hours. Just standing there. I mean, it's amazing what they accomplished here. I mean, I just love the cinematography of it all. The basic camera shot. But, so they asked for help with this doctor who specializes in hauntings. And he's kind of psychic, and he comes to the house, and that's when he learns about their story, as well as the audience. The audience kind of learns about Katie's story and why this is happening, and so then the doctor gives his advice, like, okay, I think what you're dealing with is a demon and not a haunting because of what's going on. And so he gives them the name of a demonologist who can possibly help them get rid of this thing. And so, they take down the number for the demonologist, and, Micah, I can't stand him in this movie because he always says that he's handling it. He says that he's going to handle it, he's going to find out what it is, he's going to take care of this. Never understood why he was written that way. I mean, it just sounds stupid. I mean, what is he trying to find here? All he's trying to do is set up the camera to see if he can catch something. Okay, good. If you catch something, which they did on the camera, he says, I'm handling it. How is he handling it? How is filming something going to make this thing go away? I don't understand that. He's acting really stupid. So she wants to call the demonologist to get this taken care of because it starts to get worse every night. And he's like, no, don't call the guy. Like, don't call the guy. I'm not putting up with another dude coming in here. He's being stupid. Like, what are you doing? Like, honestly, I cannot believe she didn't hit him. This stuff is serious. This stuff is going on, and he sees it too. He should admit that this stuff is going on. The camera, it's catching things, but like, my point is, what is he accomplishing? What is he trying to do to make the spirit go away? He comes up with an idea to get a Ouija board and to give it what it wants. And the doctor told him specifically that if you get a Ouija board, you're inviting the spirit in. You're letting him in. And, when he's like, well, we'll just give the thing what it wants. And then the doctor says, well, what it probably wants is Katie. Duh. She gets drugged down the hall. He wants her. The demon wants her. The demon says her name. I mean, she says, I can hear my name being called out. And Micah's just sitting back, just like making jokes of the whole thing. His character was so, I wanted to punch him. I honestly wanted to punch him. He was acting so stupid in this movie, like, you're my girlfriend, and I'm gonna fucking take care of the problem. Like what? Putting baby powder on the floor to catch footprints? Okay, so he's being kind of like a ghost hunter. That's what he's trying to be, because he's trying to catch footsteps on the floor. He's trying to catch EVPs. He's trying to catch the door going back and forth, the light turning on. He's caught all that on film, and he's done nothing. Nothing. She wants to call the demonologist, and he just says no. So finally, she gets fed up. She's like, the camera isn't working, nothing's working, I'm calling him. When she calls him, she finds out that the demonologist is out of the country or whatever. He's out of town. He's not back. He won't be back for like 2 or 3 days. So again, you could have solved this. You could have had the demonologist come and take care of this if you weren't being stupid. So I blame Micah. I mean, I guess Katie was kind of stupid too. She should have just called no matter what. She should put the pants on in the house, okay? So they have no help coming. And Micah just basically continues on with this Ouija board. He gets one. He didn't listen to the doctor. He didn't listen to Katie. He just gets a Ouija board and doesn't care. Katie should have left his ass. I felt so bad for Katie in this movie. I really did. I felt so bad. I felt like she couldn't run from this. She had to stick it out with no help at all. Because Micah sure as hell wasn't helping. He wasn't doing anything to help her. I tell you one thing, I wouldn't want to be sleeping close to that door open like that. Hell no. So everything seems to get worse, and then there's a tragic event that happens at the end. And I wanted to talk about the endings, because there were a lot of endings. There was actually an ending that was scrapped. There is an alternate ending. There's of course, the theatrical ending, and one that you can actually view on YouTube. There was one that wasn't filmed, actually, and I'll go over the different endings. Then there was an unfilmed ending where Katie gets Micah's camera and beats him to death with the camera. Now, they didn't use that because they thought it would be too brutal. Honestly, I don't see how that would be brutal. I just really don't, because the alternate ending to this I thought was even more bloody, gorier, or brutal than that would have been. The alternate ending to this movie is where Katie kills Micah. She goes up to the bedroom, she locks the door, goes in front of the camera with this big kitchen knife and goes like this and slits her own throat while she's smiling, and then she just falls. There's also an ending on YouTube that you can see where she's sitting down in the bedroom by her bed right there, and she has the knife and she's like rocking back and forth like this. It's very quick. But the theatrical ending is where, she kills Micah downstairs. There's kind of like a tussle a little bit, and you can hear him yell like he got stabbed or killed. And she throws him against the camera in the bedroom, and he's dead. So she kneels down, she sniffs him a little bit, she looks at the camera and she smiles, and then she goes like this towards the camera, and her face turns into the demon face, which really looks bad. From what I hear, Steven Spielberg suggested that. She look at the camera, which was actually kind of creepy. I mean, when she gets down and she sniffs him, and then she looks up at the camera and she's like, she smiles, and then she goes towards the camera. I mean, the only thing creepy about that was the smiling. When she turned into the demon face looked so CG-ish. The CGI was bad. It just looked bad. It looked like a cartoon or something. It wasn't scary to me. When it comes to this movie, I thought they should have just left it alone. I mean, of course they're going to make sequels because it made money. It made a lot of money. So right away they're going to greenlight some sequels. And I understand the storytelling of Katie and her sister, which is interesting. with the demon and all that stuff. But I think they got too carried away, just like they did with the Saw movies. They got carried away, and I think this movie is good as a standalone film, which is why I prefer the alternate ending, where Katie kills herself. I prefer that. But, you know, like, if that happened, then we wouldn't have any more. But, unless they made, like, prequel or whatever. But, anyway, this movie is the best one in the series, and I do like it. It's very well done with the found footage stuff. On here, there's the special features, which is the unrated version with the alternate ending, never seen in theaters, of course, and the theatrical version. A few more things on there. But yeah, the first Paranormal Activity, what do you guys think of this, honestly? Let me know in the comments. I'd have to say, like, you know, since I've had experiences, like I said, this movie did creep me out. It really did. I wouldn't say it's like one of the scariest films out there. I think Blair Witch is definitely scarier, but it definitely gave that creepy vibe in some of the, like I said, when she gets drugged down the hall like that, that was crazy. I remember in the theater, people were just like, oh, like screaming and stuff. But very, very good. I really did enjoy Paranormal Activity.